Hey guys, welcome back to some more AFK Arena. Today we're over on the test account and the patch 1.117 is up, which means we are getting our new Celestial hero, guys. There she is, Daemia. So overall, guys, she is another caster. We were really hoping for some support, but we'll have to see. And she is also continuous damage. So this is going to be pretty interesting. Let's run through the skills and abilities. Overall character model, I like it. I like how she looks. She has her little wings back there. Now they are saying she's the summer goddess, the lady of summer. Let's run through and see so floral shade. Wow, floral shade right off the bat makes me think of Flora because of course that's kind of how she is. So she creates lush shade for 10 seconds and dispels most of the negative effects suffered by allies and enemies. So that's pretty much everything. During this time, they're unable to recover health. Damage dealt is increased by 100%, and health cannot become less than 20% from direct damage. These effects do not work on bosses. After Lush Shade ends, Daemia removes her control effects and swings her staff to deal 300%. Deal damage for 300% of the attack rating to all enemies. After Lush Shade has ended for 5 seconds, she can use her ultimate once again. So there's a cooldown on the ultimate ability, so we can't chain this. That's pretty interesting. That is kind of interesting to see. So it dispels most of the negative effects by allies and enemies. So pretty much everybody. When it ends, she restores the health of all allies possessed by Dewy Nectar for 280% of the attack rating. Any excessive energy of Daemia's will increase her crit damage amplification with every 1 energy point, boosting the crit damage amplification by 0.1 up to 50 points. This carries on until the next time she uses her ult. That's pretty interesting. So that seems like she's going to put out quite a bit of damage. We're going to have to see exactly where that scales. Now the Days of Bloom, so there's a passive. Every 8 seconds, she grants Dewy Nectar to allied heroes within her half of the battlefield. I think that makes a difference on where she is at. This effect cannot be stacked. And active, she unleashes the Flurry of Petals, dealing damage for 200% of the attack rating to all enemies. So again, she just does damage to all enemies. If used actively when Lush Shade is active, the skill additionally restores 200 energy points for the hero possessing the Dewy Nectar. Okay, so she's got a energy regeneration piece right there. When Torrid Wind is active, this skill, when used actively, will summon a gust of strong wind, dealing 200% of the attack rating to all enemies 3 times. Wow. When Blazing Sun is active, she will cast continuously to intensify the sunlight, damaging the health of all enemies for 100% of the attack rating for 1 second. Health loss will increase with time up to 200%. When Torrid Wind and Blazing Sun are both active, Gust of Strong Wind will be summoned every 3 seconds the spell is being cast. She is incredibly complex, guys. At the start of battle, Dewy Nectar grants Dewy Nectar to all allies within her side of the battlefield. So interesting. It doesn't say the allied side. It is within her side of the battlefield. Scorching Monsoon. She creates Torrid Wind that lasts for 10 seconds. While Torrid Wind is active, each time an enemy takes damage, increases damage it suffers subsequently by 3%. This effect can be stacked up to 8 times until Torrid Wind ends and cannot be dispelled. This skill will not be used again if Torrid Wind is present on the battlefield. Wow. Again, guys, it's super situational with these abilities. Increase factor for the received damage increased to 5% from 3%, so that's good. Torrid Wind is activated and an enemy loses 100 energy points for every cumulative 10 times they have taken damage. So she has an energy disintegration built in there. When an ally possessing Dewy Nectar deals damage while Torrid Wind is active, summons a Wind Blade dealing additional 150% damage of her attack rating to the target who has been damaged by an ally possessing the Dewy Nectar. We haven't even seen the nectar yet, guys. She creates Blazing Sun that lasts 10 seconds. Seems like everything lasts 10 seconds. While Blazing Sun is active, each time an enemy deals damage, reduces their damage output by 3%. This effect can stack 8 times, which is awesome. And right there it is, 5% right there. Lasts until Blazing Sun ends. This effect cannot be dispelled. This skill will not be used again if Blazing Sun is present. So they're kind of all the same skills, just in a different matter. Whenever cumulative 10 times the enemy has dealt damage during, they will become stunned. Now they have crowd control aspect. And when Blazing Sun is active, the tenacity of all allies possessing the Dewy Nectar is increased by 30 points. Wow, guys, that is a lot of different abilities that we have going on in here. So signature item is the Floral Staff. The Sultry Season. Once allies have received Dewy Nectar, a cumulative of 2 times their attack rating is permanently increased 15%, which is awesome. Once they've received Dewy Nectar 4 times, their attack goes up by 30%. Once allies have received it 6 times, their attack rating goes up by 50%, guys. Wow. Damage dealt by enemies within Daemia's half of the battlefield to allies possessing Dewy Nectar is reduced by 50%. So not only is she giving a 50% points, a 50% permanent buff, she is also giving a 50% reduction in damage. Wow, that is incredible. All right, increases the duration of the Torrid Winds and Blazing Sun, so those are her 3rd and 4th ability by 15%. Torrid Wind is created at the start of battle. That is very, very cool, guys. Wow, she has a lot going on in here. Let's see what she looks like in these trials. So it is pretty much continuous damage through this entire thing, guys. Comes onto the battle, and I believe that might be the little buff, the Dewy Nectar. There's the sun. I believe that is the Torrid Wind. Wow. Look at the summer scene down here, guys. At the end of it, she just kills everybody. Again, this is going to be pretty interesting to see exactly how we're going to play her. So she is stationary, because it says on her side, so I'm wondering if that's pretty interesting. That's pretty interesting to see that she does stay stationary. Let's see what we got here. Because she's stationary, I'm gonna put her. Let's throw Palmer in here. What do we have for some tank? Go with the twins. This is a kind of a regular setup. Yeah, so she buffs everybody in the beginning. Damage does seem a little bit slow. But very, very cool looking, guys. Look at that, 5.16 million. So with continuous damage, with dealing damage to all enemies, kind of an interesting dynamic there, because if you're fighting teams of 1, let's say a boss, or 2, you know, less than 5 enemies in a lot of certain situations, a lot of different builds, she's not going to do quite as much damage. But overall, guys, pretty good damage. She's got stuns, she's got damage mitigation, she is a huge buffer. Even though she's a mage, she's going to kind of fill both roles, guys. So all right, so that'll do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about her, and as always, thank you guys for watching.